on this episode of King of the Court.
And then it says, which will leave the future viability and sustainability of MLP uncertain. What a wild, asinine statement for an MLP exec to send out.
Coaches in MLP, should they be paid? That initial post was taken down.
It was taken down. And then multiple posts, we'll get to that, started popping up.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. I'm your host, Tyler Leung, and we have
Jimmy Miller.
Thank you for tuning in and watching. Jimmy, how was your week?
It was good, dude. We're back. We're back together.
We're back.
I felt a little, I had a little separation anxiety.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah,
there were some things I wanted to kind of hit you on, and I wasn't able to.
I don't know if I love the Zoom podcast.
Yeah, let us know. Did you guys like that Zoom? Most likely not.
Someone said I had creepy lighting on my face.
Yeah, dude, you were scary.
I was just trying to tell scary stories.
I told you to get better lighting when we first started it, and you shone your flashlight right on your face.
Bro, I didn't know. Listen, I'm not like an influencer. I don't have the little ring light that kicks it and you put it to your phone. Influencers in the wild. I need to watch
Jimmy
that.
in the Wild.
Yeah, I need to look at that more often.
That would be great content. All right, awesome. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our title sponsor of this podcast. We have The Pickler. The Pickler is the most premium indoor facility. They are doing franchises, and so they have sold well over 150 locations all around the world. So check it out. Also, if you guys are in need of any pickleball paddles or pickleball equipment, go to thepicklershop.com and use code KOTC to save yourself some money. They have the best selection and also really incredible customer service.
Did you see that Omaha, Nebraska won the free pickler?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha.
That's a great place. Have you been there?
No.
That's where I think Jack Sock is from.
Really?
Omaha. Maybe not. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Dude,
I think I'm wrong.
Of all the places in the world that I would want to go, Omaha's the bottom of my list.
Ouch.
The only thing I know about Omaha is when Peyton Manning, and you won't know this because it's sports, but when Peyton Manning, that's one of his audibles. Omaha.
No idea what that means.
Okay.
Omaha Steaks? Is that something?
Oh, yeah. Omaha Steaks? Yeah, okay.
All right. Another thing we'd like to announce is we are doing a massive giveaway for this Christmas time. Hopefully.
We are?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's go.
So we have Stance socks, which are the best socks. They are going to be donating a ton of socks. So we don't know exactly the rules of this giveaway quite yet, but stay tuned for the next video. We will announce the rules for that. And we're going to do a ton of winners. So it's not only 1 or 3 people win. We're going to do 20, 10 or 20 different winners.
Okay.
So you're going to have a very high chance of winning some really incredible socks or paddles or just different product. So check it out. And
we've got paddles, bags,
everything.
Socks. Maybe we'll throw in some reset.
Maybe. Yeah.
We're going to blow it out.
Okay. All right. Getting into things.
Yeah.
So I was gone in Hawaii last week. Incredible time. While I was gone.
Bro, who wasn't gone? Real quick. What players were not gone last week?
It seems like a lot of the pros
if
are
you
out
follow
traveling.
any pros on social media, we had you in Hawaii. We had Megan Dazan in Hawaii. We had Connor Garnett was in Hawaii. We had Hunter Yates Johnson in Hawaii.
Hawaii is the place to be.
Roscoe Bellamy was in Hawaii.
Deckel's in Japan.
Vivian Glausman's in Japan. Crandall, Jeff Wynn.
Yeah.
And then we have Tyra's in Italy.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, this is the time for the pro players to basically.
Well, when you have 2 to 3 weeks of off season, you kind of have to jam everything into that.
This is vacation time for all the pros, right?
Yeah. So
crazy.
Rafa
went to Idaho. Back to Idaho.
Back to his roots.
Back to his roots in Idaho.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So while I was gone, MLP announced or released a statement that I think a couple of the news organizations kind of reported on already. Give us a breakdown of that. Hopefully we're coming to an end with this, but we still have a little bit more drama.
Yeah. So the Jilly B essentially started a Players Collective. Okay. So that Players Collective, all the players got together. We don't know who's involved in it. They're saying it's 103 players. The interesting thing is nobody's put their name on it, I think partly because essentially what they're saying is fear of retribution.
Yeah.
So they're saying they have 103 players.
The collective is saying
that. We don't exactly know what players are involved in that, right? Like, is Ben Johns involved in that? Is Riley Newman? We don't really know. But they're saying that's 103 players. They have retained an attorney. They have an employment attorney, and they have some other attorney.
They claim.
Yes, they have an investment. They have an angel investor, and that person is essentially backing the Players Collective. And
this Grubbs.
Yeah, Rodney Grubbs is doing it with everyone else's money. No, so the collective is out there. They've been releasing statements. They sent out that original email to MLP and basically said they did a survey and they don't like the negotiating tactics. They don't like negotiating with Connor Pardo at all. Part of the reason they chose MLP was to not deal with Pardo, and now Pardo is leading a lot of these negotiations. They feel like they've been threatened, all these things. Okay. So MLP comes back with their own response to that, and they release a letter. And their letter kind of contradicts the Players Collective's letter, right? Their letter basically says 85%, and I don't want to misquote it because it's a big deal, but it says 85% of premier players. So I think that this is just over 85% of premier players have accepted reductions and new agreements with the new co.
And this is MLP saying this.
This is MLP saying this. Now, let's just be really clear that I think both sides are viewing this differently, and they're kind of
pushing their narrative.
And they're skewing the stats to benefit them. And what I mean by that is the Players Collective is saying it's 25 to 30% of total players. And MLP is saying it's 85% of premier players. I mean, premier obviously is not all of pickleball, right?
Right.
But that does...
They hold a lot of weight.
They do hold a lot of weight. And so they're saying we got 85% of the top players. You guys are saying that, essentially 70% of all players haven't. And they're saying, well, 85% of the top players have. So you can decide what holds more weight. And so there's a little bit of argument about that.
Every pickleball life matters.
Yes, pickleball lives matter. MLP also said that we have $50 million in new capital coming in to fund the first 3 years of expenses. The owners have pledged $10 million a year annually to help fund operations. And then player agreements have gone up 300% from 2023 to 2024. Okay. So MLP is like, look, you guys are starting this collective. You guys are upset, but look at all the great things we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Players Collective comes back and says, your negotiating tactics suck. We trusted you. We agreed to all of these things because we trusted you. And now you guys are cutting our salaries and you're doing it by bullying us.
Yeah.
So there is one line in this letter though, that was wild. That was absolutely wild to me.
Yeah. What is it?
So the last line, and it's actually bolded. It says, if the merger is not completed by January 31st, 2024. So they extended slightly. It. These new agreements will be null and void, and the deals will revert back to the contracts you signed with MLP or PPA. So that's part of it. So essentially, if no merger happens, MLP players stay with MLP, PPA players stay with PPA. And then it says, which will leave the future viability and sustainability of MLP uncertain. What a wild, asinine statement for an MLP exec to send out. That last line. Why would you even create the sense that you're unstable in any way, shape, or form without the merger? Yeah. One, does that not give PPA all the leverage in the world that you're going to put that in writing? Two, does that not create crazy instability and stress among the players? Number three, if I'm an owner of a team, I'm like, what the hell? Like, you're literally just devalued my team. Like, who puts that in a letter? Yeah. Because the reality is I don't think that they are as unstable as everybody thinks.
No, but they're wanting this to go through.
They are. And so they're trying to push it to go through. Yeah. But if you've raised $50 million of new capital and the owners have committed $10 million.
But maybe that's only contingent upon the fact that it might go through.
Sure. But look at it like this. Okay. I think it's easy math. And
easy math for Jimmy? Easy math for Jimmy?
But If the merger doesn't go through, okay, I think that at this point the merger is very close, and I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that there's now the owners still have to vote. Let's just be clear: the owners do have to agree. Owners own the league. Like you can say whatever you want. But
how many technical owners are there? Because each team they have like a group of 10 or 20. So
there's
how many?
Probably like 300.
So are they having every single one of those?
I think it's the majority owners that have to vote. The majority owners get the vote.
Okay.
So I believe there will only be 24 votes.
Gotcha.
But look at it like this, okay? For example, if this falls apart, right? So the owners have committed $10 million annually. That would stay, okay? Even if that $50 million investment goes away and it's contingent on the merger, if it falls apart, PPA has 4 teams. They have the Drive, they have Dallas Pickleball Club, they have Utah, they have Seattle.
Yep.
Those 4 teams go back to MLP. So you sell those 4 teams at $8 million a piece. I know for 100% fact that there are 2 buyers already lined up waiting to buy those teams. At least 2.
Yeah, as of now.
Yeah. But you buy those, you sell those 2 at $32 million.
Yeah.
Or those 4 total at $32 million. The owners have already committed 10. So now you're back to 42. You've already had people essentially commit to pay to be in Premier.
Yeah.
That's $4.8 million.
But once again, I think a lot of this is contingent upon the fact.
It is.
So those numbers that you're throwing out, who knows what?
Yeah, but I think that this stuff can still come together. Like you have enough billionaires and millionaires that own teams that they could still. This could still come together.
Or 30 million is quite a bit different than 10 or 15 million.
Yeah, for sure. And then you have, I'm sure there's a private investor out there that would be willing to give 10 to 15. Yeah. My point is they could make it work. And so to put that in a letter to the players.
And
what they're trying to do, what they're trying to do is they're trying to like stress the players out and be like, you better sign or if the merger doesn't go through, MLP is going to die.
Yeah.
That's like the whole scare tactic.
Pickleball is not dying.
No, it's not.
Pickleball is not dying.
It's
not going anywhere.
And
we're not leaving.
And if I'm an owner of a team, I'd be so pissed to see that.
Yeah.
Right? Like you literally just devalued the entire organization. If you really have 80 to 85% of the players already signed in Premier, then you don't need to use these scare tactics to get everybody else to sign.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. The second thing is Travis Rettenmeyer on Tennis Sucks. I listened to their podcast.
Yeah.
They were sitting at the courts while people played. But
were they doing the ball drop?
They seem to mute it out a little bit. So I'll give them credit for that. But Travis said something interesting, and I don't know if this is true or not, but he said that there's no guarantees that PPA players have to play MLP. Okay. If that's true, MLP made a massive mistake. Another one. Because if they don't have to play, if you just agreed to pay up to $500,000, right? Or $400,000 to be in Premier.
Yeah.
And Ben Johns, Annalie, Matt, Lucy, Tyler Leung, Jay, AJ.
Yeah.
How many Premier players? Elise, Callie.
Yeah.
And they don't have to play.
Yeah.
You're paying for who? For what? Not saying that there's not great players that could still play MLP, but you're just committed $500,000 or $400,000 each to not play, to not even have all the top players. Like, how is that not part of the merger if that's true?
There's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that needs to be agreed on.
Yeah.
So you have that side of it. The second side of it that Travis mentioned, which I thought was interesting, is that MLP essentially had better contracts for the players during this whole tour wars.
By better, what do you mean?
What I mean by better is better for the organization.
Sure. A little bit more safe.
Safe, yeah. Because they had players commit to 200 days.
Most players. I know most some. Players. Yeah.
But they had them commit to days. PPA had the players commit to tournaments.
Events, yeah.
Events, yes. So now that they're renegotiating, they're saying
it's hard to compare days with tournaments because they're not all equal.
Because if you commit to 25 tournaments and there's 4 days per tournament, it's 100 days if you try to convert it to days, right? Where MLP players are committing to 200 days.
Yeah, it also depends are you doing singles, are you doing mixed doubles, are you doing doubles? It's not it's not specified necessarily.
But if each tournament lasts 4 days and you commit to 200 days, that's 50 tournaments or 50 events. Yeah. Which is insane, right? Yeah.
And honestly, that was one of the reasons that a lot of the players went with PPAs because they didn't want to do that amount of days.
They did, but also one of the reasons players went with MLP is because they promised them an off season. They were like, oh, it's an arbitrary number of the 200. So now that they're combining and they're negotiating, it's hard to go to a PPA player and look at their contract and say, you're committed to 25 tournaments.
Yeah.
We're going to cut you 40%, but we'll cut your tournaments 40%.
Yeah.
Well, now you have players playing, 16 tournaments,
which is still more than one per month if you average it out.
It is, but it's not a lot, and you probably need them to play more than that. Where MLP, you can say we're cutting you 40%, and we're going to cut your days to 120, which is still a full schedule.
Yeah.
And so because MLP had better contracts and they had the players under longer control, it's almost like their players are getting punished over the PPA players.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense either. Like, I think that these new contracts need to be completely changed and they need to all go tournaments.
But can they do that?
Well, I think that they need to be, that's the thing. I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but they do need to be completely changed. And I know that like a player has negotiated. Just for example, I talked to a player, they negotiated with MLP, and then 8 minutes later talked to PPA, and one of them was saying, no, we're doing days, and one of them was saying, no, we're doing tournaments. So even MLP and PPA aren't even on the same page with these negotiations. Like, the whole thing's a shit show.
Yeah.
And both sides are, like, I get it. Like, MLP's like, hey, we chose MLP for a reason. One, we want an off season. Two, we trusted these owners. Three, we didn't want to deal with Connor Pardo, and now Connor Pardo is the one that's leading negotiations.
I love it.
Like, it's wild. And so I get why they're upset, right?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, PPA players are like, we chose PPA because we trust Pardo. We want to play tour events. We want to play against the best players in the world, and we don't love the team events.
Yeah.
And it seems like maybe they don't even have to play them. The whole thing is nuts, dude.
I think it's a very gray area. And even now we have 2 weeks left of this year and there's still not much more clarity.
It's totally fluid. Like, that's the thing, is we don't know. Like,
at what point will we say, hey, this is that. When are we going to get those rules?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, is
it the last week of the year?
Well, now it's pushed to January 31st. So, they're going to take it to January 30th.
Jeez.
And that's the crazy thing. Isn't the first event for MLP February 4th or something?
I thought it was even the last week of January, but it's probably February.
But it's close. And so
they haven't done a draft. We have a lot of people asking, hey, when's the draft in?
Well, what about this? If you haven't agreed to a cut or you haven't agreed to a new contract, are you going to go play PPA Masters? Like, what's your pay for Masters, the first tournament?
I would imagine they would, just because people want to.
Yeah, but like, what's your pay? Is your pay the old contract? Is it the new contract?
Hey, we're not in this for the money. We're in it for the love of the game.
Yeah, right. Like, that's the craziest part. Like, what happens? There's no clarity, and I feel bad for the players. Like, they don't know what's going on.
Okay, so any blowback, kickback from that article or anything like that?
No, I mean, CNBC article, I think that it was very favorable to the Players Collective. I think it addressed a lot of the issues that they're upset about. They actually got a quote from Richie in there.
Oh, I saw that.
Everybody was anonymous, but Richie Twazen,
your owner, your boss,
my owner, my boss, my guy.
Yeah.
He manned up and he freaking put his name on a quote. I thought it was.
He just wanted the clout. He just wanted the exposure.
No, I think that Richie's just not. He is who he is, and he's going to be very honest with you. I don't think it was inflammatory towards either side. I think he basically his quote was just something along the lines of, players coming together is good for the sport.
Yeah.
It was very basic. I mean, it looked like it was ChatGPT generated, but he was actually at least one of the people that was willing to put his name on something. And I actually,
were you in there just under anonymous?
Him. No, nobody wants my opinion on these things, dude.
All right. Well, in my opinion, I feel like, as bad as it sounds, it almost seems like it's a little bit water under the bridge. It doesn't really matter that much. I mean, all this stuff that they've been reporting on has been going on for the past few months, and it seems like a lot of it has kind of cleared up, to be honest.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see what happens with this Players Collective, because there is if PPA MLP is correct in that 85% of players have agreed. Well, let's see which ones signed, because starting Monday, I believe the contracts are actually going to go out.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the
official
finalized
contracts.
Yeah.
So let's see who actually signs, as opposed to who just agreed and then.
Should we have a signing session?
We should
just have all the pros just sign.
Yeah, like they do when you like commit to a college.
Exactly.
Did you do that? Did you ever?
I signed, but it wasn't like a big party or anything like that.
You didn't like going to the gym at Lone Peak High School?
No. Nobody really cared about tennis, to be honest.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's D1. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it was cool.
So, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Once those contracts go out, let's see who actually signs. But there's a whole group of people that haven't agreed. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's an entire...
Do you know names? Drop names.
Well, no, I think, truthfully, I don't know this for sure, but I think that all of Hype Nation hasn't agreed to anything.
Mm-hmm. And they have what, maybe 10 to 15 players?
I think they have like 30.
30? Okay.
I think they have 30. And most of them are, majority of APP, but there's good players, that on Hype Nation. And so I don't know what what happens. Like, do you say, sorry, peace out? Or do they have enough strength in numbers to be like, hey, guys, we got 30 freaking players?
Yeah, but I mean, as your point in the beginning, are those premier players or those challenger level players? Do they hold the same weight?
Depends on how they view them. Exactly. I mean, there's some good name, really good players on there. I mean, Megan Fudge is part of Hype Nation, right? She played with the Johnson brothers, I believe, are part of Hype Nation. Alex Trong.
Yep. Who
obviously, I hold near and dear to my heart.
Exactly.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but the whole thing is wild. I think that it does seem like there's starting to be a little bit of clarity in terms of the merger. Mm-hmm. But
I've said this, but I think, and I could very well be wrong, but I think by the end of this year, which is in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I think we should see some serious direction on where we're going.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like I said, it's all fluid. It changes day by day.
Okay. C&D pickleball nets.
C&D nets.
The best pickleball nets out there.
Yeah.
And I told you this before the show, but we got the owners of C&D. They called us yesterday and they were thrilled. They have a customer who watches the show, who uses our code, who purchased one just to try it out.
Yeah.
And she loved it so much that she's ordering 15 more nets. And she might place an order for a total of 30 for next year.
Love it.
30
amazing
C&D pickleball nets.
I'm telling you right now, it's the best investment she could ever make when it comes to pickleball nets.
And not only that, I mean, they're somewhat portable. And so if you do put it on a driveway or in a facility and you do have to end up leaving, you can take that with you.
Yeah, well, they have the ones on wheels. They have the other ones that are freestanding. They're both amazing options. I went and played at somebody's house the other day that we both know, and he has a different brand, and it was annoying. Like there's so many things about it that the net just didn't, and I bet he paid the same price.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at this net and you can't roll the ball under it. It's like the tension was a little bit different. It just wasn't as sturdy. It wasn't as strong. I might've gone for an ATP and crashed into it. And I know that the C&D would have held up a little bit better.
Jimmy did not attempt an ATP.
With my speed, my agility. So point is, check them out. C&D Nets.
What's their website?
Thebestpickleballnets.com. Also,
use code KOTC.
They have ball blockers now.
Yes.
Custom ball blockers.
Yeah.
Did you see they went to Jamie Foxx's house?
Foxx, yeah.
And they made them custom ball blockers.
They look good. They look quality. They look classy. They blend in.
Yeah.
They don't stick out. And you can also do sponsors. You can do names. You can do whatever you want on those banners on those sides.
And doesn't it make sense that their website's the best pickleball nets and they went to the best paddle? Mm-hmm. Right? Because it's not his paddle company.
Great collaboration.
Yeah, great collab there. Jamie Foxx. You think he watches KOTC?
No. We should talk to him though.
We should.
Yeah. I think he's a big pickleball guy.
Danny Werfel watches KOTC.
Who's
Heisman.
that?
Heisman Trophy winner. Have you ever been to Destin, Florida?
No.
It's literally called Danny Werfel Highway. He has his own highway.
How much money did he have to pay for that?
No, dude, he's just a legend. Like freaking played for the Gators. The Swamp.
Yeah.
All right.
Go check him out. C&D Pickleball Nets. Use code KOTC. All right. So we have a pro.
Yeah.
Leah Jansen, she goes on and off of social media. She's been on Twitter, X, recently, and she's been making some statements or some claims, just an argument about coaches in MLP.
Yeah.
Should they be paid? So you are a president.
I'm the president.
Yeah. And you guys just hired,
and also a client. What is that?
Hair Club for Men. That you guys just hired.
We hired a coach.
Yep.
We did hire a coach.
And this is paid salary.
It's a paid position.
Okay. Should coaches in MLP be paid?
And yeah, I think they should. However, Leah makes a great point.
Okay.
What should they be paid?
There we go. What should they
How much should they be paid? What is their role? And also, are we paying coaches just to say that we have a coach, or are we paying coaches that actually know what they're talking about? So our coach, we vetted he came and helped us coach our last event. He watches film. He actually works individually with players. He's actually worked with you.
Yeah, I've worked with him probably for the past 4 to 5 months or so.
Yeah, he works with Alex Trong. He works with Elise. Yeah. And he knows the game.
Yep.
Super smart guy. He can watch the game. He knows strategy. We felt like he knows his stuff, but I will be very honest with you. The amount of money that we are paying him is not
very minimal.
Yes, it wouldn't.
It's not Kyle McKenzie status.
It's not Kyle McKenzie money.
Yeah.
Right? Kyle McKenzie, I don't know what he does. I know that he loves to get his players to do these weird warm-ups and drills, but I don't know how he is when it comes to strategy. For me, my personal opinion, and I think that this is similar to what Leah actually said, I think that some players would probably be better coaches than the coaches.
Sure, 100%.
You have a Lucy Kovalova who didn't play MLP. Lucy would probably be a really good coach.
Yeah, it's hard to say. You would think so.
Yeah.
Some players, they have the gift of coaching. Some other players, they're great players, but they are awful coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
vice versa. There's some people who are not good at playing pickleball, and they can also be good at
they'd be great coaches, right? Exactly. And so the question is what's that number, right? And I think part of Leah's point was you guys are cutting salaries, yet you're paying coaches. Because we were told, we've heard that some GMs and coaches are making 6 figures.
Well over. There's many.
Yeah.
For sure. Guaranteed.
Yeah. If you're making 6 figures.
It was over the majority of coaches.
Yeah.
Were making over that.
Yeah.
That amount.
If you're making that amount of money and you are, how do I say this? And you are cutting player salaries, I think that you're cutting from the wrong spot. Right? I think you're cutting from the wrong. And I've heard that there's other GMs out there that are only making 20,000.
Yeah.
And then we've heard GMs and coaches are making 100,000. And so I just think it depends on,
because Tim Parks, we had him on and he said, to be honest, he's all like, to draft for Premier is fairly easy. You can take the top 10 to top 20 players and you can guess where they're going to go within 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah.
Within one spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Who the top ones are. And so are you paying a coach over $100,000 to do something that anybody could do?
Well, I think the coach and GM are probably a little bit separate.
Sure.
But where you're from a GM perspective, it's very easy. And after not easy, but easier for Premier. And after you draft, you're kind of done. Where if you're coaching, you better be earning your keep.
Yeah.
Right? You got to watch film. You got to come up with strategy. You got to find strengths and weaknesses from players. You got to help players and tell them what they need to work on.
So what value does a coach bring to MLP or even to players for that matter?
Yeah, and I think that's what it is, right?
Even on the PPA side, we're starting to see players travel around with some coaches, with trainers, everything like that. Is there a value in that? Yeah,
I think there is. I think that, every single sport has coaches, right? They have coaches for a reason. Coaches, their job is it's sometimes when you take a step back, you can see the playing field better than if you're actually on the playing field. Oh. And not saying that the players don't see it, right? I think that there's players that are extremely smart.
Yeah.
And they do see it, but sometimes when you're in the heat of the battle, you're not seeing certain things.
Another added benefit that coaches bring is that they're able to say something that you might not be able to say to your partner. And so, like you said, taking a step back, if a coach says something to me or somebody else, it comes off a little bit differently than if I, as a player, were to tell my partner that.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And I mean, listen, coaches make millions of dollars in every single sport for a reason.
But that's that's relative.
I mean, their job is to motivate. Their job is to uplift. Their job is to, to change the game, right? To notice things. Their job is to strategize. Their job is to, tell you what the things that you need to work on. I mean, there's a million things that a coach can do, but the question is, are those coaches doing that?
Yeah.
Or the coaches really just...
I think the biggest question for Leia, or what she was saying, is just the amount that they're being paid.
Yeah.
Is that correlated to what they're bringing?
Like if you were paying, just for example, Lee Waters. If Lee Waters is making $100,000, I don't think anybody bats an eye because I think Lee Waters knows her stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Like for an MLP team?
Yeah. MLP, or just in general, right? Yeah. She coaches Alshon now, sits on his bench for singles, for everything. I think Lee Waters knows her stuff. I think she knows strategy. I think, right?
Do you think she charges him?
Maybe babysitting money.
Babysitting money?
She,
I need to get her as my coach.
I mean, I think she knows what she's doing. But does Kyle McKenzie? I mean, I don't know. I was on your bench when you guys played DC. I didn't hear him say anything profound. I didn't hear him say anything that was, changing strategy or changing, you know what I'm saying? Like he kind of just stood there with his arms full.
In fairness to him, they didn't need to do too much.
Well, that is true. But is that him or is that Riley and
He prepared
Jackie?
them so well that he didn't need to say much.
Yeah, I saw him sit there with his arms folded and his sunglasses on, just staring the whole time. But I don't know. A guy like him, I don't know if he's worth it. I mean, DC, it's up to, obviously it's not our call. Does DC think he's worth it?
And then the other thing is, I mean, pickleball is so unique in so many different aspects, but right now you're having a lot of these coaches who are doing multi-jobs. Kyle McKenzie, he's a commentator.
Yeah.
In no other sport would that happen where a commentator or a coach or an owner of a team could do these dual roles.
Not they'll have them come on like guest spots, but definitely not a full-time spot.
I mean, you have players who are owners of teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that are just
so the NBA has a very strict rule where a player cannot have ownership.
Yeah.
And
while they're playing.
Yeah. And Travis Rettenmeyer is an owner.
I think there's a couple others too. I mean, it's not only Travis. There's a couple others.
Yeah. I mean, one of the deals we were told of the Johnson 5 was that they get ownership.
Yeah.
Tyson allegedly got equity.
It's just a really weird working relationship that I think in the probably next 3 years they'll make rules to curb that.
Yeah, I think you have to. And like I said, I think there are a couple of coaches out there that are probably worth it. But I think that, and here's the thing, MLP is you're going to have to have full staffs. Okay. I think going forward, you're going to have a staff, right? You're going to have a president. You're going to have a GM. You're going to have coaches. You're going to have marketers. You're going to have training staff. You're going to have social media people. Like if you really want to run this like an organization, you will need like a full staff, right? And the players do need, like, as smart as some players are, they do need guidance, so to speak. But should those people be making, like, if you're a challenger coach, should you be making more than the challenger players?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I think maybe some of it should be tied up in their performance. Are they able to crack top 10, top 5, win it?
So I do know that there were coaches that were they weren't given a salary during this season,
incentives,
but they were given a bonus based off of how their team did.
Yeah.
And so maybe you do that. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to be at the events anyways.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a current player? Because it seems like a lot of the coaches are senior pros because they're not playing. But would you rather have like a current player?
I mean, it depends on who that player was. I mean, if Ben Johns were out there, I think a lot of people would really value Colin Johns.
So we had Colin help us, because he trains Tina Pisnik. And so he came during our playoff match and kind of pointed some stuff out. And obviously he's a very smart guy and knows his stuff. I feel like a Colin Johns.
Best mixed doubles player?
Well, I mean, we actually told him to be quiet during mixed because we knew that there wasn't much he can help us with. But during men's doubles, he did a great job of telling Scarpa to just straddle the outside line and stay out of the way. Yeah, because he knows how to do that really well.
Yeah,
but in terms of like Colin does, not Scarpa, just to be clear. That wasn't a shot at Scarpa at all. But
it was a shot at Colin.
100%. But I think that I think that those guys are most likely going to be playing. Yeah. And so it's hard to have them coach. But if you have a Ben Johns on your team, do you need to hire a coach? Mm-hmm. Would Ben be like, hey, pay me an extra $50,000 and let me coach?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, interesting topic. But moving on. Reset pickleball.
Reset. This is an interesting thing.
Talk about it. Reset pickleball.
Well,
so this was started. This is a true startup. They don't have big money thrown at them or anything like that. It's nothing. A true startup. It's a mom. It's a female who started this.
Yeah.
Her husband is a chemist. Yeah. And so they started this in the garage in their basement, and they just wanted to create something that's
how Apple was started.
Exactly. All great businesses start in
the
home.
Garage.
Exactly. Anyways, one thing I wanted to correct is this product does work. I have been using it. It cleans the paddle effectively and safe. However, when I was using this microfiber cloth, the very first few times, since it's brand new, it left a little bit of lint behind. And so that lint will stay on the paddle face, but you can most of the time just wash it off or wipe it off with your hand, and then your paddle's clean. After the first few times of using this cloth, it kind of goes away, but I just wanted to put that out there that sometimes this stays on because the paddle is so clean. But yeah, the product is great.
So you're saying that this, because for lack of a better word, some D-bags said that it was just soap and water.
Apparently, this is not. I haven't heard that, but yeah, some people think that it's just soap and water.
It's not soap and water. It is not.
It was made by a chemist who knows science. It's based on science. It's based on numbers. It's based on facts.
Okay.
So go check it out.
Interesting.
We've had over 200 people.
Love it.
Over 200 people use our code.
So they should be starting to actually receive these by now.
They have, and we've already seen a lot of positive feedback.
Give us your feedback. Yeah. I would love to know your feedback on it. Obviously, we are using it.
It's super cheap, relatively speaking. It's $15 or so. Use our code KOTC.
Yeah. Plus, how long? I mean, whoa.
Calm down.
I need to reset that. How long? I mean, this is a pretty good sized bottle.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that this bottle is going to last you a while too.
Minimum of 3 to 6 months, I would think.
Yeah.
It's a great gift for the holidays.
Yes. Put it in the stocking stuffers.
Exactly. Go check it out.
For the pickleball lover at home.
Resetpickleball.shop and use code KOTC. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast and also this segment of the show. Jimmy, real quick.
Yes.
I've got a really good idea.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Do you have $25,000 I can have for it? It's a really good business idea.
I mean, what? I mean, give me some background here, Tyler.
I'll give you some interest on it, and I'll pay you back in a couple of years.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I'll just hand it over. Yeah.
Are you down?
I mean, it seems that 40 plus people were down.
Okay. There was a huge story breaking last week.
Yeah.
And it was about this person. So this person initially posted on Facebook on one of the pickleball forums, and they gave their story of an investment they made into a pickleball company.
Yeah.
Give us the rundown on that, Jimmy.
So basically they posted that they invested with Rodney Grubbs in Pickleball Rocks. For those that don't know, Pickleball Rocks they have a slew of things they do.
And let me also preface this by that initial post was taken down.
It was taken down. And then multiple posts, we'll get to that, started popping up. So Rodney Grubbs, essentially, Pickleball Rocks is like a...
and we are not saying if this is true or not. We're just reporting on what we've seen so far.
So they have a clothing line.
It's a pickleball brand.
Yeah, pickleball brand. They have like a facility. I think they're doing kids clinics, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. They have a thing called Unstoppable Pickleball, which like they felt really cool to play pickleball during the pandemic. And so they called it Unstoppable Pickleball. Mm-hmm. So this person posted that essentially he came to them. He said, I need $25,000 and I will pay you back interest on that money over a certain period of time.
I think they said 12% interest over 2 to 3 years.
Yep. Over 2 to 3 years. They actually told him, hey, you're our friend. Appreciate you. You don't need to pay us 12. We'll take 8. And he's like, no, I'll do 12. 3 years later, they have not seen a penny. Mm-hmm. He doesn't respond to calls. Yeah. He stopped responding to emails. He stopped responding to everything. They haven't seen any of their money.
Yeah.
So they end up posting this on one of the forums, which was taken down for some reason. Now, anyone that knows Rodney Grubbs, he's kind of the OG, one of the OGs. You know, he's all over these forums. He posts a lot. His kids.
I've met him. He's a very nice guy, it seems.
Yeah. His kids, you know, play. So they post it. It gets taken down. And then, but enough eyes saw it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all these other people start popping up with similar stories. Mm-hmm. The last post I saw, there's 40 plus people who are saying that they essentially
had the same thing happen
to them between $10, $15, $25, and $40,000 that they invested with Rodney, and they've never seen any return, haven't seen the money. He's essentially running, and what they're saying
he should have joined MLP,
is a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
They're saying that he's getting more money. He's having this money come in, and he's using that to pay out investors, but he's actually not paying the investors. And he's collected probably around $1 million at this point.
Yeah, based on
the math. Yeah. With zero return. And we're talking 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So, one, that's shady as shit.
Yeah.
2,
question. Is it shady or is it bad business? Like, is he just not smart? Is he running? Did he have that idea of taking people's money with the idea of not paying them back? Or did he take it with the thoughts of, hey, I want to create this, I want to build this, but his plans didn't go to plan?
Well, only he can answer that, but then stop taking money.
Yeah, but if you need more money.
Okay, but
to buy product, to do this, to do that.
Yeah, okay, but then return phone calls.
Sure.
And return emails and get back to people and let them know where the business is and send them financials and show them where their money is actually gone instead of just ghosting them. When you ghost them, that's when it looks shady.
Yes.
Right? You can show them and say, look, you gave me $25,000. This is how much money I've brought in. This is where all that money has gone. And show them purchase orders. Show them the amount of inventory you have. Show them.
To me, even if they lost money, even if you lost money, if you truly lost money, but he told them if the
business failed, it failed.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that's a risk that people take when they invest.
But when you just ghost them and you don't respond to anything and you're not showing them where their money went, that's when it starts to look shady.
Yeah.
And when you just kind of disappear, that's when it looks shady. So it sounds like a couple of these people have hired attorneys. They're going after him. They're trying to seize assets. They're trying to place liens on his property, things like that. And I mean, it's crazy. And I think that we see this pickleball because it is such a friendly sport and you have your groups you play with and you have, it's a community sport and it's a little bit unique in that way. I think we're going to see this more often.
Yeah.
And everybody has an idea.
Yeah.
And if he did do it intentionally, just to be clear, taking small amounts of money, like 10, 15, 20,000, which isn't small for everybody, but it's still relatively small in the grand scheme of things. Those people would probably be more willing to hand that over without like fully vetting your entire business.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you're like, hey, I want 100, 200, 300,000.
Yeah.
It's easier to take 10,000 from 40 people than 400,000 from one person. Because, if you're going to give a $400,000 investment, you're like, open the book, show me this, where's it going? Where 10,000, you're like, yeah, Rodney, I'll give you 10,000. Like, I know Rodney. We play pickleball together. He's always at the courts. Yeah. He's got this cool company, and it's easier to get that type of investment from them. So it's wild, dude. Like what a crazy situation.
So I had a story similar to that. This is by no means financial advice, but I was approached by somebody. It was for real estate, and I invested a large amount of money for me into this person. They were flipping a home and everything like that. Yeah. And similar thing, they kind of ghosted me, everything like that. Long story short, I got my principal investment back, which I was thrilled on, but I did not get the interest back. Yeah. Looking back in hindsight, I thought I was so stupid because the return that I was going to get was around 10 to 12%, similar to what they were getting. And I didn't get any of that. And so there was a chance that I would not have seen any of my money. And I was willing to risk all of that money for a measly 10 to 12%.
It reminds me like
insane.
You always see these funny, so you'll see these bets, right? Sports gambling. And you'll see, you bet $100,000 on this heavy favorite to gain like $500.
Yeah.
And people will do it and they'll make these bets. And it's like, dude, like you're really risking all that. And even if it's 99.99999% guaranteed, it's like you're risking all that money to make $1,000 or make $500. Like what's the point of that? And I think we see that with, obviously, like I said, I'm not that investing, not that guy, but I have had friends do that before. I had a friend, invest in an Amazon store, allegedly, and, invested $100,000. And I don't know what the return was supposed to be on that, but the guy essentially took his money. Yeah. And
lots of shady people out there.
Yeah.
Stay safe, be careful.
Yes. And it's crazy.
Think it through.
Yeah. And like, do your research, especially on this pickleball stuff, because there's a million facilities popping up.
Yeah.
I do know one company though that has franchise program. If you're interested,
who is it?
We'll put you in touch. It's called the Pickler.
Let's go.
And they actually have a proven track
record. That is what I harp on with them is all these new facilities, they're up and going, everything like that. And I'm like, great. How long have you been operating? The Pickler has been operating 3+ years. They have already over 7 that are up, running, profitable. So that sets them apart from all these other new ones that are popping up. Is Pickler, they've done it. They have a history to some degree. Yeah,
exactly. And you're going to see a lot of this because pickleball is a new sport. You're going to see paddle companies. You can see
but
nets.
It's also tricky because a lot of the times when you invest in those businesses and they do take off, that's where money is made.
Yeah. Like, we have Reset as a startup, right? There's startups all over pickleball. Just do your research. Be careful. Yeah. Maybe pickleball doesn't rock as much as he might end up at the Rock. Is that what they call Alcatraz, the prison?
I think so.
Have you ever been there?
No, but I've seen, what's that movie?
The Rock.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Sean Connery.
Yeah,
great.
That's
movie.
One of the best movies out there.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah,
agreed.
Okay. Anyways, thank you, Reset Pickleball, for sponsoring that segment of the show. And next we have, I'm back in town, so I can.
Oh, so you can hold it up.
I keep saying this. I need to go on their website. I apologize, but they had an incredible holiday sale. Acacia shoes.
Yeah.
Go check them out. It's acaciasports.com. My favorite shoe. This is actually my signature shoe. Super lightweight, super comfortable. Looks good. Goes with a lot of different outfits. Jimmy, he wears them when he plays.
You know what's funny is I was just looking at our questions, but I should have, when we did that Zoom, I had a pair of Acacia shoes right behind me. I should have grabbed them. They're the orange ones.
Oh, nice.
I have the orange ones and the white ones.
Yeah.
I like both.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
I think I like the white ones a little better.
Yeah.
The white and the gray.
White is more your personality. Fits your personality.
I like the crispy white boys.
Yeah.
I like me some Air Monarchs, but check them out. Acacia shoes.
Alrighty. Let's get into questions.
Yeah, so I've had a few.
Okay, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. Would MLP Brent
quick.
Gingrich?
Okay, go ahead.
You know Brent?
Yes,
he's
awesome.
He's Vulcan guy.
Yeah, big Vulcan, Arkansas guy.
Yeah, he said, would MLP be in a better position if Steve Kuhn was still in charge?
That's a great question. I would say if things were as they were right now, no. I honestly think that MLP was maybe 3 to 5 players away from actually stealing the show.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they were there. Pardo said we lost.
Yeah.
Like that's the famous line, right?
Yeah.
He said at one point we lost. Now here's the thing with Kuhn. There's a reason that on Steve Kuhn's exit and the letter that when he resigned, he said, please don't sue me. Let me walk away with my dignity. Don't sue me.
Yeah.
Because Steve Kuhn knows that he did some things that could get him sued. And so I like Steve Kuhn. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a visionary. I think that he just loves pickleball. He's very passionate. But with that being said, there's a reason when somebody says, please don't sue me, because he knows he did some things that he could be sued for.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they're better off. I do think that they will be better off if if the right person steps up and takes that leadership role. Speaking of, I have a bone to pick with Steve Kuhn real quick.
Uh-oh.
With Duper.
Have you gone soft?
No. Here's the problem. Duper, okay? I have not put a match in Duper in freaking 3 years.
Yes, because you're trying to maintain your
because
4.8 Duper.
Because I just don't care. I haven't played enough. So I started getting these messages over the weekend.
Hey, everybody go log a match.
No, this is the problem. So Carla, I'm going to call her out. Carla Silvestri of San Mateo, California.
People are going to start doing this now just for you to call them out.
Carla Silvestri and Sutton Howard. Okay. Allegedly beat me and Mimi Lauren 11-6, 11-5, 11-6, and 11-7, 11-7, 11-3.
Yeah. Sounds right.
Both of those were put in Foster City, California on December 15th.
Sounds right.
One, I've never been to Foster City. I do know where that is though. Northern California. Number two, they put those in and all of a sudden my Duper freaking drops drastically.
I thought you had to accept it.
I thought I did too, but it's both showing as losses. I don't know Mimi Lauren, but she's a 2-8. Mimi, let's step our game up. And then Carla is a 3-6. Carla, I'm sure you are a very sweet soul, but I would never lose to a 3-6.
Oh, that's debatable.
Sutton is a 4-1. He'd probably be a little bit tougher, but reality is I would smack you both, destroy you both. So please fix that.
Do you know your name? How common is that name?
I know, but
there's got to be 100 different Jimmy
But it says Lehigh, Utah, dog.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is Duper just lets her put these scores in with there's no repercussion.
Well, that's one thing. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but I'm pretty sure anybody can go sign up in a tournament with anybody. And so, for example, anybody could go add Ben Johns as their partner.
Yeah.
Dude, now, obviously, he could reject that.
You know how many Jimmy Millers there are in Duper?
How many?
2. Me and this cat from Louisville, Kentucky, who's a 3-4. That's probably the dude that you beat up on.
Is it James Miller or Jimmy?
Jimmy. Mine's in there as Jimmy.
Is your real name James?
Yeah. Shh. Don't tell people that.
Do we need to bleep that out?
They'll dox me. No, just kidding. There is a lot of James though. Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying. Come on.
But mine's under Jimmy.
Okay.
Anyways, Duper.
What's my Duper?
Duper, you suck.
Ouch.
USTA. What is the other one? That sucks too. They all suck. There's no good rating system.
What is mine?
Let's see what Tyler Looms.
Mine's is probably dropped.
Duper is.
Mine's probably 4 or 5.
How can someone just throw in? Bro, your singles Duper is higher than your doubles Duper.
I haven't played singles for
6'5".
That's
3.
my singles?
Your doubles. Your singles is 6'7".
Huh. Interesting.
That's really good.
All right.
Wait, here's another Tyler Loong. There's 2 Tyler Loongs.
No, there's not.
Yeah, one has no rating though.
Okay. Neil Medarata. Potato Chip Neil.
Big Neil. Neil's in the house.
So he wanted us to touch on this last week, which...
I didn't know the story.
So give us a story, because I'm still not even all that
I don't
familiar.
know the story. That's what I'm asking you. I don't know.
I don't do good at giving synopsis.
Neil basically said that was he playing a tournament or what happened?
So I think essentially what Neil is claiming, and he has screenshots that he sent to me, is that somebody who works for APP was essentially talking trash to Neil.
Yeah.
So
Dana.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that?
Sure.
I love using names. Wasn't Ken Herman.
So
Dana.
Neil talks about, let's see.
Is Neil good at pickleball?
He's tricky because sometimes he can be deceptive, and then other times you think he'd play how you think Potato Chip Neil plays.
Neil.
But he has wins over Tyson and Jay?
Yeah, he's got a good win.
He's got a good win. One
good win.
No, he's a good player. He's very deceptive because you think he'd play a certain way, and he comes out and he starts beating you or winning points.
He's the one that called out Leia for her legal serve.
Yeah. Anyways, what are your thoughts? Do you think
his Duper is 6.001? He should never play another match.
Do you think people who work for organizations should be able to comment publicly or talk down, talk trash to especially players that are competing in that organization?
I mean,
that's the question.
I think that okay, so just to be clear, I'm probably the last person to ask about this.
No, you're the first person.
Granted, I don't work for MLP. I don't have a job with MLP. I don't have a job with PPA. But I do think that if I'm like a APP, I don't know what Dana does, but if I'm an APP exec, I'm probably being careful who I'm talking trash about. However, Dana White of the UFC loves to talk trash about everybody, and he's the freaking commissioner of the UFC. So I don't know. It just kind of depends. Like, I don't think you'd ever see Adam Silver or Roger Goodell of the NFL commenting on a player and talking trash about him. But it is funny to me, if I'm being honest.
This Dana guy says, do not need fans like you to kneel.
Okay. Neil's a fan?
Of APP.
Oh.
Yeah. He's saying, we don't need people like you.
It's so weird because I've heard players that like...
I would have expected that from PPA maybe, but not
yeah,
APP.
Yeah, that's true. Like if PPA fired a shot like that at somebody, it wouldn't shock me.
It's on par. Come on.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely on brand for them. By the way, the Dink stole my thing about Drake, but whatever. That's copyright violation. No wonder you got reported. So I don't know, dude. I always think it's funny when people like go at fans, because without fans, the sport doesn't exist, right? Without fans, none of you are pro players. You're pro players because of fans. Fans buy merchandise. Fans watch. Fans are the reason that sponsors are sponsoring you. Fans are like, if there's not fans, you don't have a paddle sponsor, right?
Yeah.
Because if nobody is watching you, Vulcan is not paying you a penny. Mm-hmm. You know, they're paying you because of fans. And so it's weird to go at fans. Like, and now don't get me wrong, there are fans that are assholes and they shouldn't get a free pass because some of them are just freaking, not cool.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like you should be appreciative of your fans.
Well, not only that, but especially players that you're wanting to create a good relationship.
Exactly. But that also doesn't give fans free reign to say whatever they want.
True.
And to do whatever they want.
True.
So I think it is a fine line. So maybe there are some fans out there like Neil that you don't care about. But for the most part, you should probably be respectful of players and fans.
How do you feel about Neil?
I don't even know Neil. Like Neil used to be in the Discord and he would say funny stuff once in a while.
Did he get kicked out too?
I don't know. But Neil is Neil. I think Neil's probably a good guy. He's probably a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's probably like a homeless man's version of Greg Dow. If I had to like, you know.
We were supposed to be supporting Neil and all of a sudden this turns into you roasting him.
No, I'm just saying like.
Neil, we love you. Let's get you on the show. Give your side of the story.
We want people to watch, Neil. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't need fans like Neil of the show.
Real quick, Crown Pickleball.
Crown. Oh, wait. Check it out.
Right there.
This guy.
Yeah. We love Crown Pickleball. They make great pickleballs. They do not break nearly as much as competitors' balls do. They are running a promotion, or at least they have been for the past little while. I think it was like $5.90. $5 for 3 balls.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
That's unbeatable.
I always say this with the colder temperatures.
Yeah.
Now here, you will break more balls, but not with Crown.
Yes.
They're going to last much longer. Go check them out. What's their website?
Crownpickleballs.store.
And use our code KOTC.
Why hasn't anybody used like "Stop Busting Balls" as their slogan?
Done. Sold.
Ball busters.
I don't know. Okay, just a
Crown.
few,
Love Crown.
Just
Check
a few
them
other
out.
things to touch on. Riley Newman posted on his story, his social media, that he was testing out new paddles.
Yeah, I heard that he's leaving Takea. Takea is no longer making paddles.
Interesting. Why?
I think their CEO left, and they probably weren't making any money.
Okay. Have you hit with those Takea paddles?
Yeah, it's like playing with a toy. It's like Toys R Us.
What's better, Z5 or Takea?
I would say that Drake wins with the Z5.
I used to use the Z5.
I know. Who didn't?
I have a win over Ben Johns with a Z5.
You know who used the Z5 up until recently?
Who?
The Wall.
Who?
Dave Seuli.
Oh, man.
Dave Seuli used the Z5 until recently.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so allegedly Takea is not making paddles anymore.
Do you think he still has his water bottle sponsorship with them?
I bet they are. I bet they're still doing that. I think that side of the business probably does okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that means AJ and Riley are no longer going to be playing with toy paddles. Maybe Riley will get some power.
Sock Schick. Jack Sock and Colin Schick.
What a mess. What a mess. You get Catherine for mixed, which is great, and then you play with Colin Schick. Colin Schick is just not a good doubles player. He's not. And I know that they live by... No, he's never going to be. I know that they live by each other or something.
He's putting this on a soundbite and just
go for it. Eric Lang already did it.
And he proved you wrong.
He proved me wrong playing with Ben Johns. You're not playing with Ben Johns, Colin. So, I don't know. I just don't think Schick is great. It's weird to me. I feel like Jack Sock could have got a better partner. Mm-hmm. And he's going to go and play with Colin Schick, who was a disaster in freaking MLP. And he just has never done anything. He literally has done nothing in doubles. Mm-hmm. And other than...
He's had good wins in singles.
Yeah, well, that one tournament.
I think it's a couple.
Like he was 30th and got to the finals or whatever. And he's had a couple decent, but he's never literally done a single thing in doubles. And Jack Sock needs, he's still new. He needs some time.
Yes and no. So I've heard that somebody played with him multiple times.
And Roddy. Dobrin owns the van. Okay. Dobrin lives in the van.
They're
and he's
one tweet away.
Around.
One tweet away.
And Roddy is the Dolphin fan. Shout out the Dolphins. I'm also a Dolphin fan. Okay. He was one tweet away. One call away. What song is that?
One tweet away.
Okay. My bad. Our bad. Okay. Dobrin and Roddy. Shout out those two.
Okay, we just touched on this. Drake using Z5. How epic is that? Is there anything more iconic than him using a Z5?
Bro, he's worth $250 million.
I thought he'd be worth more, to be honest.
And he's rocking a Z5 with a tennis net and taped on lines. What in the world? Like, that's wild.
That's great.
He's got to be a 3-0. What do you think? Maybe?
Hey, he's part owner of the Brooklyn Aces.
Yeah. Well, he owns the bad part because he's using the Z5.
Okay. We kind of mentioned this.
Drake, have you ever heard the album Take Care?
Yes. I like Drake.
It's got to be top 5 albums of all time.
Okay.
No?
PPA, they announced the punishment for those that do not take the pay cuts.
So
PPA, if you do not take the pay cuts, what happens?
You've got to go do clinics with Johnny Pickleball. Johnny Pickleball Andrews. You have to go do clinics with him. Like they posted this video and they're doing like these local clinics and he's running them.
Yeah.
Like take the pay. I've not advised the player yet. Go take that pay cut. You don't want this. You got to sit there like literally, he's doing this video and he's doing these clinics and it's like you get to do clinics with the pros and Johnny Pickleball is running them. Why? It's insane. Like
you don't want to sign up?
I'll take 60% cut. Anything, but don't let me do those clinics, please.
Tell us how you really feel.
Like that. Oh gosh, I'm sure it just looked miserable.
Okay.
It's awful.
All right, we're going to get through some of the questions.
Oh, gosh.
All right, somebody said, Survivor with Pickleball players is announced. Who do you pick as the 8 people in Season 1?
Oh, Survivor?
I didn't know that was announced.
Really? I think they're...
Maybe I don't know if they're saying, like...
If it was announced,
gotcha.
Yeah. Who would you take?
Who would you pick as 8 people in Season 1? I feel like McGuffin would have to be in there.
Yeah, he would have to. Because honestly, like when you're playing like Survivor, they don't wear shirts anyways.
Yeah, he's in his natural habitat.
Would you put Tyson Apostle back in there since he's already a Survivor winner?
2 Tysons, T squared.
Yeah. You have, if your name's Tyson, you're automatically on. I think that you'd have to put somebody crazy like, I think Rafa, I mean, he's from Idaho. He lives off the land. He's probably eating raw meat.
Jilly B's in there. She's for sure is in there.
Oh, for sure. Like you've got to have just a touch of unstable. I would actually probably put like Krista Getcheva because what's she going to eat? She's vegan.
Unlimited buffet there. Like she could live off the land.
They make them eat bugs and stuff. She's not going to eat bugs.
Grass.
She's not going to kill a wild boar and carve it up. Like she like
Elise, get Elise in there. She'll wrestle a hog.
Oh my gosh, Elise. Like, you know where they have to like stand on the poles in the water?
She has to.
Elise would be that person that stands there for like 4 days and doesn't even fade. Like it's over with. They're like, Elise, you won the immunity idol. She's still standing there. That'd be Elise.
Okay, somebody said, with things at MLP and PPA being up in the air right now, is it possible that APP somehow ends up on top?
I think APP is going to end up with more players. Yes. Somehow they will end up with more players.
I've been saying this for a long time. I don't think they'll end up on top, but it'll be very interesting to see how their 2024 turns out. From what I've heard, they're increasing their prize money significantly.
And they're doing a team event.
$100,000. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens.
We talked about Hype Nation earlier. If those Hype Nation players truly get cut and they can't play PPAs, I know some of them in their contracts, it states that they can play APPs. So do you have all those players go play the APP team events?
Yeah.
And then what does that do for Challenger, for MLP?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
What is the new UTR system that is trying to outdo Duper?
Well, they both suck. Get rid of all of it.
Which one is it?
It's that new, UTR is the new one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're Duper did add back in like margin of victory scores. Mm-hmm. I think that's good, but the fact that Cynthia or whatever her name was, what was her name? Cynthia?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Whatever that lady's name is, can just go throw in a score and mess with my Duper.
Calm down. Did it drop your Duper?
Yeah, dropped it by freaking Carla.
So what are you now?
Is Carla's like pretty much Karen.
What are you now?
4-3 something. It dropped me from 4-7, 4 whatever to 4-3.
Okay.
Because what happens when you lose the 3-0s? I don't lose the 3-0s.
Why? This is a good question. Why are Anna Lee and Ben Johns not the best in MLP, unlike in PPA?
Because it's a different format.
Okay.
2, they don't get to
But if it's a different format and they're the best, they should still
They don't get to play with it. Well, Ben is the best. He just won it again. With Eric Lang and Lacey Schneeman and Jesse Irvin.
Yeah.
Ben just proved he's the best. Annalie doesn't get to play with Ben and doesn't get to play with Catherine. Mm-hmm. It's harder for Annalie to carry players than it is for Ben.
Yeah. Also, what you said, the format, you have a different opinion on this, but I truly think that the format really throws in a lot of curveballs. It throws in a lot of upsets.
Well, it's not my opinion. It's the stats.
No,
stats don't lie.
No, they do when you see
real
them.
Clear stats.
Yeah,
check them out. Ben.
If Ben, Johns, and Colin played every single PPA tournament with rally scoring, I guarantee you they would not have nearly as many wins.
No, you're right, because it's 89% compared to 90%.
But it wouldn't even be 90%.
1%. They'd have 1% more losses.
I would put Rodney Grubb's amount of investment money that they would
lose.
You'd
lose it, just like Rodney if you gave it to Rodney. So as long as you're okay losing it. You know what would kill Ben and Colin?
The first rounds. It doesn't.
Playing 8 a.m. Yeah, playing matches at 8 a.m.
No. They would lose more.
Ben ate salmon on our show with his hair in a mess because it was at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will PPA ever have ball boys or girls? It seems cheap to not have them.
Yeah. So here, that's funny. So my aunt and my uncle don't even know anything about pickleball.
They watched the show?
They watched the show. Shout out to my aunt and uncle. Okay. And so my aunt Roro, my uncle Dave, love them. They watched the show. They actually, they mentioned something like that. They're like, why are they getting their own balls?
Yeah.
Why do these players have
to
to pick up their
So
own
I think there's
balls?
two reasons. Number one, it's just not there yet. Number two, a lot of players, especially in singles, they use it as a time to kind of recoup, kind of catch the breath. If they're just go, it's too tiring. And then the other thing is most of the doubles is played up at the net. And if you hit a ball into the net, you're literally 2 feet away. It almost, I don't know. I guess if they just turned around and walked back, but you're literally 2 feet away. You can't bend down and pick up the ball. I don't know.
No, like,
to me,
you're a pro.
It seems weird to have somebody run right in front of you.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. I would get on the baseline or the sidelines, but the net balls, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but great question. My aunt and uncle, shout out to them. They live in Idaho. By the way, they live in Idaho. Did you see that In-N-Out in Idaho that just opened?
Yes.
8 hours. 8 hours to go to In-N-Out in Idaho to stand in the drive-thru.
They have a lot more. What were you comparing In-N-Outs to? Was it Picklers or trying to see who had more?
Yeah, I know it's 400 locations. Somebody sent me that. And what did I say, 150?
Yeah.
My bad. But you can get into the Pickler way sooner than 8 hours.
What do you guys spend the money on that people donate? Are you guys paying rent or what?
Yeah.
What are you spending the money on?
Yeah, I'm paying rent. I'm No,
I'm investing in Pickleball Rocks. Have you guys heard of that company?
Yeah, you guys should check it out. We're buying Reset. We're buying all sorts of stuff.
I'm buying Pudgy Penguins NFTs.
Well, that's probably true, actually. And he's buying bear bricks, right?
No, we use it for a
Someone
good
made
cause.
you a bear brick.
They
Made it like they sent you
it.
one.
Yeah. Those things are awesome.
That's insane.
Yeah. Okay. Is Jimmy going? Is Jimmy going to get Jeannie Bouchard on the show?
Yeah, 100%. Jeannie will come on the podcast. I will ask her personally. We have to, dude. Like, you have one job. You guys aren't going to win. She's not been training. Okay?
I don't know if she's touched a pickleball paddle.
We don't know exactly. She posts everything she does. Like, she works out, she eats, she goes to the bathroom. It's all posted. Nothing of that has to do with pickleball. Never seen her post a single thing about pickleball. So she's not training. So you're not going to win, but you have one job. If you're going to sacrifice a tournament, which is a big tournament, to play with her, we need Jeannie on the pod. That's our goal.
Who is the Draymond Green of pickleball?
So who's the douchebag that starts fights but can't back them up? That's a good question. Who is that? Julian Arnold?
I don't know.
I'd say Julian.
Okay.
Julian start fights? He's that guy that, like...
I don't know if he would actually start something, but he likes to talk. But there's quite a few other players who like to...
Has there ever been an actual fight?
At the pro level?
At the pro level. Have you seen a punch thrown?
No. Well, not on the court. I mean, AJ Kohler.
Yeah. That's so is AJ. AJ is probably the Draymond.
No.
You don't think?
No. Pablo, maybe.
Pablo could be the Draymond.
Yeah.
Pablo's in Mexico right now.
Really?
On vacation. Speaking of pickleballers continuing their vacations.
Okay, we'll do a couple more. Tyler, what is your training regimen besides drilling, playing look like?
5-minute mile.
What else?
Dippin' dots.
Dippin' dots.
What else? Bro, I saw you working out in Hawaii with the old people.
Oh, yeah.
You and that old
lady. They were
lady
keeping me in check.
You're getting after it. Like, when you pick up the colored weights, you know you're going heavy.
The colored weights. So I've really increased my training drilling regimen the past 3 to 4 months. And 2024, knock on wood, I am going to make a very bold or daring goal.
Okay.
And that is to only have carbonation 1 day a week. Soda.
Really?
1 day a week.
What's your soda of choice?
Sprite, root beer, Coke. I don't know.
Bro, you are like a kid.
Yeah.
Sprite and root beer?
Root beer is great. I love root beer.
Of course you do. Do you ever do like the root beer challenge where you go buy a bunch of different flavors and try them all?
No, have not done
What's
that.
your favorite? Dad's?
A&W is great.
Do you like cream soda?
Cream soda is good.
Yeah. I like cream soda over root beer.
Okay. Sorry Not Sorry said, Jimmy going to APP? What MLP team is Ty going go? Can Tyler say going to go ever?
Huh?
I'm trying to say that.
Okay, so...
Are you going to an APP? Because you mentioned that you might.
Yeah, well, is that guy's name Tom? I don't know his name. I think his name was Tom. Yeah, so what I said was he made a comment about APPs. Okay. He clearly works for APP. I don't even know. I didn't even fully know what I was committing to. But basically, I said, look. Dude,
I want to go if you go to an APP.
Yeah. Well, we do. We got to go. I mean, wouldn't we?
I went to the New York
That's
one.
where we got to go.
That one
to,
was
right?
incredible.
Shouldn't we go to Flushing Meadows? They're doing it again, I think in May.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, my point was like, dude, you want us to support APPs. That's great. But we're not going to support APPs when you don't even freaking stream them.
Yeah.
And he said, this year, we're streaming. More streaming's coming. And he said, get ready.
Okay. MLP Commish Brooks Wiley, what will he do for his next career?
Bro, do you follow him on Twitter? He plays like these mining games where he like mines. I don't even know if it's ETH or if it's, I don't even know what he's mining. He plays like these games where it's like you play video games for crypto. That seems to be his
Love it.
His thing. So
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
be surprised if he does something in pickleball. He still plays quite a bit. He posts on his stories that he's still playing quite a bit. Just because he's not involved with MLP doesn't mean there's pickleball rocks that he can't get involved in.
Pickleball rocks. What are you trying to say?
I'm just kidding. Just because he's not involved in MLP doesn't mean there's other...
Tom Webb, by the way, is the APP
other
guy.
Ventures that you can't be involved in.
Could you... you think Brooks would come on the pod and just do a tell-all?
Maybe.
It's like, look, you got nothing to lose. You already got fired.
Yeah.
Come freaking light everybody up, Brooks.
Okay, we'll do 3 more questions. This is a good one. What player will be in the top 10 that we don't expect for 2024?
Ooh, that is a great question. Top 10
men and women
in 2024
that
we don't expect. I don't know. Is there any up-and-comers that we wouldn't expect? I feel like there's not like anybody I felt like, okay, I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Kwang Dong.
No. Close.
What's his name? Bellamy's Roscoe.
No. I like Roscoe, though. He's funny.
Okay, who else?
I'm going to say Yame. I think Yame is getting better
for
at
doubles or singles.
I think singles he'll be top 10, and I think
singles he's probably already there, to be honest.
But I think doubles he's going to crack. He's going to be close. He's going to flirt with it.
Okay.
I think Yame is going to make that step.
Top 10 is tough because
tough.
There's the top. That means you're the top 5 teams.
Yeah, so he's got to get good partners.
Exactly.
But I think Yame is getting close.
Okay. Somebody said, "What ranking will me be at next year?"
Yeah, Tyler.
What ranking will I be next year?
Well, I think you're going to make the finals for sure.
Okay, so that's top 16.
I think you could crack top 10. I mean, just to be clear, 2022, you were what, 6, 7?
5.
5?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you and Callan essentially were the bronze baddies. You were getting in the bronze battle match every single week, winning bronze. And you just won bronze at Daytona, last tournament you played in with DJ. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility for you to be in that bronze match, and obviously flirt with some championship Sundays on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Which would put you firmly in the top 10.
I'm going to kind of boast about, or just kind of give a little bit more clarity to. We've talked about this a lot, but partnerships matter. Yeah. Partnerships are absolutely essential in you and people having success.
But your partner for the first event is a Challenger MVP.
Challenger MVP. Let's
Challenger
go.
MVP,
yes.
Todd.
So that's what I wanted to get
Weber State, great.
Love it.
And Jeannie.
And Jeannie.
I'm telling you, if you're gonna sacrifice, you're throwing away a tournament.
Yeah.
To play with Jeannie, not you're throwing it away. She could end up being good down the line.
I think she'll be good, but it'll be a minimum of 6-8 months or so.
Yeah, but I mean, she owes you a podcast episode.
Okay, so my goal for next year will be a top 10.
Okay,
that's my goal.
I like that. I think that's a fair goal.
Okay, last one we'll do is, what is Tim Parks' duper?
Oh, should we look it up? I'll tell you what Tim Parks' duper should be. Tim Parks is a solid 3.8. Okay.
Solid 3.8. Is that what it is on duper?
4.021.
So you're getting awfully close to him.
Yeah, freaking Cynthia, Carla, whatever your name is. Tim Parks he played well. I don't know if you saw the video that Hard Eights posted.
I did not.
Okay, so there's this video. So the last day, everyone got there super early. The owners always play very intense games with good money on the line. Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, shout out Golden Tate, by the way. He's wearing a Black Bears hat in this video he just did.
Cool.
And Tim Parks was playing with Brian Levine, and they were playing Richie, and I can't remember who else. And they're going back and forth. And Chris, who does the social media for the Hard Eights, is filming Tim, right? And Tim's making all these comments. He's like, Chris, how big do my thighs look right now? Like, they just look my quads. Mm-hmm. My quads look massive in these shorts, don't they?
Yeah.
And they're playing, and Tim's, committing multiple kitchen violations, and he's trying to Ernie stuff, and he doesn't realize that if you go for an Ernie and you freaking cross the plane of the net, it's actually a violation when you miss. Uh-huh. But he does that every single time. But whatever, he makes his own rules.
He keeps going for it.
And so in the video, Brian Levine, it's game point. Mm-hmm. And Brian, and the court is like a square, but then it kind of like, they cut the corner on it, okay? Brian Levine is at the back. He returns a serve, and he goes to come forward, and I think his foot gets caught in the net, or in the fence, and he hits the ground. and he's laying on the ground. He's like, wait, hold up. And he's laying on the ground. Tim's running, and Richie just hits the ball right at Brian, gets game point, and Richie's like, I'm not letting him get him up. It's game point. And they have it all on video, and they posted like this highlight, and all you see is Brian on the ground. And I was like,
Can we see that?
yeah, we should post it.
Okay.
Go to Twitter. Anyways, it was funny. Tim's solid. He's solid 4.0 plus. He's getting better.
All right. Thank you for following along. If you've made it this far, please do us a big favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out as a channel. We are trying to grow and push this content to a new audience. Thank you to our sponsors. We have the Pickler, C&D Pickleball Net, Reset Pickleball, Crown Pickleballs, and Acacia Shoes.
Yeah.
This next week, we are going to be getting quite a few videos out. We'll also be providing more information on our giveaway. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next time.
Yes.